I saw these people getting on boats and leaving, and I looked at my husband. I said, do we go? Do we stay? What do we do? And, we have an 11-month-old, so I didn't really want to take her out in the middle of this if I could avoid it. But at the same time, you don't want to get trapped. So, we stayed. Luckily, our neighborhood was dry. We were without power, without cell phone service, without everything. You really just cut off from the rest of the world for a while there. And it finally came back together and got our electricity back on. I believe it was Monday night when it came back on. So after that, you felt a little bit more secure. You could see what was happening. You knew there wasn't any more rain coming and knew that the waters were starting to recede a little bit. But I think the devastation for me is to see all of my neighbors because I'm okay. We're fine.
Yeah, we're the lucky ones.
Yeah, but then you drive one street down and your neighbor's house is gone. There's nothing left. I mean, it's already been gutted because they don't want to get mold inside. And some of these people that live in Riverbridge right next to where I am, they were in their homes less than a month. I mean, I have a great photo on my Facebook page that shows an empty house. It says sold in the window. It had been finished. Someone was about to move in, probably closed on it. They're never going to live in it now. It's devastating. So everything that you're doing out here and getting the supplies, it's going to help our neighbors, and I thank you for it.
And when you guys driving around, in the last couple of days and seeing, what people are having to do now, what do you think when you drive through Bellevue and you drive through neighborhoods where they are literally all gutted out and everyone's belongings are just stacked up at the curb?
That is weird. And we went down to a neighborhood right by Kelly's house to help out, and we talked to some people, and that was the weirdest thing for me to see all of their stuff in a matter of, I guess, hours or 24 hours. Not only just their stuff, like the refrigerator, their clothes, their dressers, their everything, but the drywall, the insulation, windows. I mean, the craziest things that you would never think. Everyone hates to move. It's like the most, no one ever, everyone gets a bad back when you get a friend that's about to move. But, I mean, the speed that everyone is able to get all of their stuff out, and then it just, there's nowhere to put it but in the front yard. So it just piles that you wouldn't believe of just things that you don't even imagine ever come out of a house.
Right.
Well, and, I thought, okay, the only thing I know to do is to hand people water. I have a little one, so I piled her in the car, and I became like the water wagon and just put water in the back of the SUV and drove up, and I kept asking, do you need water? Do you need water? Everybody's got water. Everybody's got food. There are so many volunteers already. It's just been absolutely amazing. And a big shout out to the Vanderbilt students. They have come out in droves in Bellevue to help. Just especially, there are 2 or 3 subdivisions in particular. River Plantation is one. Another one that's very close to me is the Meadows. A lot of elderly people live there. They're retirees. They don't have the resources. They can't physically take all this stuff out. So we've got all these great Vanderbilt students, neighbors helping neighbors. It's just been tremendous.
And Trevecca, Nazarene, their students it's finals week for these kids, and they've just put school aside to come out and help. And it's amazing to see all the orange the purple T-shirts all over town, representing and just kind of coming together as a community. And being new here, I'm the new guy.
Right.
It's amazing. It just kind of ingrains that even more into me that this is a great place to live.
And that's what we've experienced here in the last day or so is just the outpouring of love from neighbor to neighbor, but they don't know their neighbor because it's someone over in Bellevue or Bordeaux or Donaldson.
Right.
And if you guys can talk a little bit about, because you've traveled around the last couple of days, talk about the spirit of the people that you've encountered over the last couple of days.
Well, individually, I talked to a woman that had lost her home. In fact, her home. And she said, you know what? It sucks, but we're going to get through this. And that's someone that experienced firsthand. I mean, one day their house was perfectly dry. The next day it was under 10 feet of water. And the next day it's perfectly dry again, but nothing's in it. And she was just positive attitude, said, we're going to get through this, and didn't have flood insurance. That was the one thing that they're being told they're not in a flood zone. I know me personally, I would be livid if this happened to me and I was told specifically I'm not in a flood zone, don't worry about it. And they were just positive. And the neighbors were yelling down the street, hey, we've got hamburgers, or hey, anyone need help? It's just, I was kind of shaking my head. I couldn't believe what I was